Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to be talking about text structures. Let's use 5 different soccer passages to explore text structures. Why don't we first discuss what we mean when we talk about text structures? Text structures are used in nonfiction writing. Text structures refer to how the author organizes the information he or she wishes to present. Why is text structure so important? Understanding how information is organized helps us comprehend what we read. Authors who use text structures to organize their nonfiction writing help readers learn and retain what they have read. Okay, let's go. Let's use the 5 soccer passages to explore the 5 most common text structures. Our first one is going to be description. Ask yourself, in this piece of writing, is this piece of writing describing something? So think, does it have a topic? Does it have an overall topic? And is all of the paragraphs or one paragraph just describing lots and lots of details about that topic? An example of descriptive text is below. And I'm going to read, and as I'm reading, I want you to think, what is it talking about? Is each paragraph a different? Or is it on the same topic? It's just describing descriptive details. Soccer is one of the most popular sports in the world. Millions of people play soccer. It is a fairly simple game to learn. Players try to move the ball down the field and kick it into the goal. However, a goalie stands in front of the goal and tries to block any shot the other team makes. If a team gets the ball in the goal, they score 1 point. Players need to know the rules. You are not allowed to touch the ball with your hands unless you are the goalie, or you are throwing the ball onto the field from the sideline. You are also not allowed to tackle other players. The referee watches to make sure each player follows the rules. To play soccer, you need just a few items. You need to have a ball, a large area of grass, and goals. Many players wear special shoes called cleats. These shoes have points on the bottom to help players run without slipping. Many players also wear shin guards. These protect a player's legs from getting kicked. So take a look at that piece of writing. Is each one of the paragraphs talking about the main idea of soccer? So each one of them is going back to that main topic of soccer, but each of the paragraphs are describing something different but related to soccer. Let's see what we mean by that. So in paragraph 1, it talks about how to play the game. Paragraph 2, it talked about the rules. And paragraph 3, it talked about the equipment and clothing. Our second text structure is sequence. Ask yourself, is this piece of writing telling me the order of events? Maybe first, next, finally, or is it giving you dates? No, not just 1 or 2 dates, boys and girls, but dates throughout the whole text, kind of in sequence or chronological order. Example of a sequence text structure. Soccer is a game that has been played for numerous years. In fact, many people believe that it began in England over 800 years ago. About 200 years ago, in the early 1800s, boys in England played a sport like soccer, but they called it football. However, each school made up their own rules. In 1863, a group of players met and wrote official rules for soccer. Soccer started spreading to other countries. In 1904, an international group called FIFA formed to make sure that every team around the world followed the same soccer rules. Today, soccer is one of the most popular sports in the world. So look at that paragraph, coming back up to the beginning. And throughout the whole paragraph, it's giving you chronological order. 800 years ago, about 200 years ago in the early 1800s. Then it talked about 1863. It moved us on through time, 1904, and it ended today. So it walked us through time order throughout the whole paragraph, or throughout the whole reading selection. So, examples of sequencing text structure. Just like we said, what makes the piece have a sequence structure? Starts in England, early 1800s, moves to the rules in 1863, 1904, it formed a group, a soccer group. So you're looking for structure all the way through. Number 3, compare and contrast. We did a little bit of this past week. Comparing and contrasting. Using a Venn diagram here is what they've done. Ask yourself, is this piece of writing telling me how things are alike? And how are they different? Here's our example of compare and contrast. How to compare and contrast the text structure. Soccer and football are alike in a few ways, but have many differences. One similarity is that there are 11 players on the field at one time in both soccer and football. They are both popular sports in the United States, and they both require the use of a ball and a field. The difference between soccer and football are numerous. Soccer players use a ball shaped like a spear, whereas football players use a ball that has 2 ends. In soccer, players are trying to send the ball in the goal. However, in football, players are trying to get that ball in the end zone or through the goalpost. The rules are also very different. In soccer, players are rarely allowed to touch the ball with their hands, while football players frequently touch the ball. Football players are allowed to tackle, but this is forbidden in soccer. These are just a few ways that soccer and football are different. Nevertheless, most people agree that both soccer and football are fun sports. So that leads us to a Venn diagram where we're actually looking at what soccer and football have in are different between the two, and then how they are alike. So in this article, soccer talks about a spear-shaped ball. Football has a ball with 2 ends. Soccer talked about goal. Football talked about an end zone. Soccer rarely touches the ball with their hands, while football frequently touches them with their hands. Soccer, tackling is forbidden, while football, tackling is allowed. What they have in common. The article now, boys and girls, all of this came from the article, nothing from your previous knowledge. Remember, we're doing non-fictional text. Everything must come from the article. They both are sports. They both have a ball, can be kicked, and they both have 11 players on the field. The 4th text structure is cause and effect. Ask yourself, is this piece of writing explaining why something happened? The effect. What caused the effect? Or is it explaining what effect will happen? The effect of something, or did something already happen that caused something or an effect? Let's look and see. Our example is cause and effect text structure. Head injuries account for between 4 and 22% of all soccer injuries. These can result in concussions. A concussion may occur when someone's head strikes an object. The most common cause of a concussion during soccer is when one player's head strikes another player's head. The second most common cause of a soccer-related concussion is when the ball is kicked from close range and hits a player's head. Heading the ball does not cause head injuries as long as it is done properly. What makes this piece have a cause and effect structure? Well, in the story, it calls two players hitting heads, and the effect is a head injury. It also gave the cause a ball hitting someone's head when kicked at close range could, if not done properly, give you a head injury. So it gave you two causes, one effect, to both support that effect. Our fifth text structure is problem and solution. And ask yourself, is this piece of writing telling me how a problem can be solved? So you have a problem, possible solutions. Example of a problem and solution text structure. Professional soccer players head the ball thousands of times during their careers. Doctors are unsure whether players that repeatedly head the ball are more susceptible to later head injuries. Therefore, many parents and coaches are choosing to take steps to protect young players. What are some possible protections? Make sure children learn how to properly head the ball. Use the appropriate size ball for the age of the players. Smaller balls are less likely to cause injuries. Make a no heading rule for younger players. So in that selection, what makes this piece a problem and solution structure? First, there's a problem, head injuries during soccer, and then there's possible solutions, proper instruction, correct ball size, and then the no heading rule for the younger players. All right, boys and girls, those were the 5 most common text structures that you will see in nonfiction writing. Go ahead and you can replay this on your own, but throughout the week, we are going to be using those 5 different text structures in our writing selections.